outgoing, undefeated in rugby this year.
I went to a concert with some friends first semester, and we rented bikes after the concert and just rode around downtown Chattanooga.
I've just learned to manage my time.
I guess time management would be.
Clean your microwave.
Make a lot of memories, meet a lot of new people, and just kind of get out of your shell, because it'll be better that way.
I'd say that it's okay to be undeclared.
Educational, I hope.
Exciting.
Spontaneous.
Scary.
Everything will work out.
Sounds like the title to my next album.
And calling my mom when I need someone to talk to and I'm awkwardly walking to class, you know, just like pass the time, be like, hey girl, what's up?
Move-in day, I was walking up the stairs and tripped up a stair, and it wasn't just like a little trip, it was like you trip and you tumble, and all of them were like,
I didn't know where one of my classes was in the Vest building, so I walked all the way past some train tracks. First floor of Battle Abandoned.
I was in my dorm bathroom because everyone came to my bathroom because I'm on the first floor.
And then I thought it was done, so I started taking a shower, and then they banged on my door and was like, Chaston, we're doing it again.
Amazing how a man can find himself alone.
Walked past the train tracks. I'm glad you're still here. Hey, can you guys real quick help me thank the freshman worship band? Didn't they do awesome? Thank you guys so much. Well, good morning and welcome to this year's Rite of Passage Chapel, or as we like to call it, Love Your Mama. All right, so I know you've heard this phrase, you've seen it in your emails, social media, and you're like, what in the world is Love Your Mama? So let me give you some context. You may or may not be familiar with the term alma mater, right? So it commonly refers to the college or university you graduate from now, but the Latin words can be translated as loving mother, hence, love your mama. You see, we're so excited that you have decided to be a part of our family. And as your alma mater, we couldn't be more excited you're here, and we love you an awful lot. And we kind of hope you love us too. All right, think back with me all the way to Saturday, August 20th, the day that many of you began your LEU arrival. Felt a little bit like today, but you had probably started moving into your room, your new dorm room. Maybe you had that awkward initial roommate encounter, like, which side are you gonna take? Transfers, you were probably starting to figure out where you were gonna find your place in this new community. So that day, I stood here, you sat there. There was this mixture of uncertainty and excitement in the room. No one knew quite what to do. And this day, today, seemed like an eternity away. But here we are. I'm standing here, and you're sitting there. You did it. 248 days ago, we sang that song that we would no longer be slaves to fear. 357,120 minutes ago, I and countless others stood on this very stage and invited you to make the most of this experience. And each of those minutes have held some kind of moment or memory. Okay, well, maybe about 8 of those you spent sleeping. But let's talk about the other 300,000 plus. So I recently spent some time chatting with groups of you, and I asked you to tell me about some of the more interesting moments of this past year. You told me about that first week when everyone was wondering what in the world PCSU meant. And you didn't quite know what to do in your new bedroom. Even sleeping felt awkward. His eyes change colors. Did you know that? Anyway, okay, it's fine. And you finally met your suite mates, right? And the ones you had been social media stalking for the past 2 months, and you pretend like you don't know anything about them, but we all know the truth. Yeah, you know everything about them. You very, very quickly memorized the official freshman introduction. Name, major, hometown. And there was that freshman Sunday event with no bowls. It's a night you all remember, but none of us are still quite sure about it. Okay, and then there's trying to figure out when to leave your dorm room in order to get to class on time. But can we just have a moment of silence for the guys who live in BOB and are communications majors? It's no wonder that they all have longboards. Every single one of them, they all have longboards. They need them. It's fine. I know that you have tried somehow to cook in the freshman dorms. Probably didn't go so well. So then you survive on ramen for 40 days and nights. Because for some of you, your flex dollars ran out that second week of classes. Okay, but then you become so hungry, so ravenous, that you forget to put water in your ramen and you set off the fire alarm. I know, somebody in here did it, probably multiple. It's fine. In other news, apparently everybody wanted to be like Snapchat with this whole stories thing. Started with Instagram and then Facebook, and today we're happy to announce that next year, the forum will feature stories. And by the time we got to November, none of us were quite sure what was going on. However, you know, it was rumored that Harambe got 11,000 votes in the presidential election. Forever remembered, never forgotten. Speaking of forever, we all have that one friend who just won't stop dabbing. I know, it's okay. They'll be okay. And finally, there was the weather. Now, I don't doubt that some of you were warned extensively about the rain in Cleveland in the fall, but it never came. Fake news. It just didn't happen. It just never came. We kind of skipped winter, and spring came and went about 12 times, and thrown in the middle of that, there were fires, droughts, tornado warnings, and hailstorms. What a year. But we made it. Now, I also asked you guys to tell me about some of the best moments of the past year. And you mentioned things like the athletes coming in clutch and helping you somehow squeeze a house full of items into your small dorm room, the smallest dorm room you could possibly imagine, right? Give it up for the athletes. Yeah. And then, of course, there's Deke Day, when we found out that just a few of our moments can make someone else's day. There was Club Lee, when you still thought that you could join 20 clubs and get all A's. Discovering Perkits for the first time. It's my favorite. Red Velvet, oh, so good. I don't know if you guys know this, actually, but you were the first class of freshmen and transfers to know the beauty that is cookout. Mm-hmm. Okay, and do you remember Pokemon Go? When that was a thing, right? It's fine. Maybe it's still a thing for some of you. I don't know. It's fine. You told me about midnight games of volleyball and roasting marshmallows on the eternal flame. And, of course, the infamous Chill Howie. I know, the picture. Also featuring stories in 2018. We've got the all-out abandon of dorm wars, which, yeah. You know, it feels feels like it's a professional sport around here, and everybody puts on their scary game faces. And many of us came together for incredible events like Worthy Now and nights of worship with Planet Shakers, Lauren Daigle, Elevation, and most recently, Bethel Music. We shared Operation Christmas Child and Pack and Stack together, impacting the lives of over 3,000 kids around the world. Pretty incredible. And who could forget Con 30? So this is when we were able to celebrate an incredible legacy of leadership. And we all had to decide whether or not to eat the Dr. Khan M&Ms. All right, name a more iconic duo. I dare ya. Can't do it. We have our midnight breakfast at 11 p.m. I'll see you guys tonight. Walk Arena. Yes, y'all better be there. We recently learned that campus security apparently can also double as animal rescue. Y'all, if you haven't seen the video, you have to. You just have to see it. And speaking of animals, April the giraffe finally had her baby. You see, from all of this, you know that you've become a part of this family. I know at times you've probably been unsure. There have been these moments where you didn't ever want to leave campus, but there have probably been times where it took everything within you to not run far, far away. But in spite of the challenges, you've made so many memories with the people sitting around you. And all of these experiences have led you to this moment. Enjoy it. You've learned how life at Lee works. For some of you, this has probably been the most life-giving year that you've had. And for others of you, this might have been the most difficult one that you've ever lived. For some, it's been neither, and for some, it's been both. But my prayer for today is that we can all look back on this year and see the faithfulness of God. I also have no doubt that the next few years are going to hold their own challenges. But from my personal experience, I can confidently stand here today and tell you He's going to continue to be faithful. So invite Him into your everyday. He's going to transform you. And invest in this community that's around you. Allow them to hold and to mold you. Next week, many of us are going to stand with the largest graduating class that Lee has ever seen. And we can't wait to stand here with you, new students in just a few years, and show the world how proud we are to be your alma mater. So, as you watch the seniors experiencing their last, figure out what first you want to make. How are you going to make your mark at Lee? How are you going to embrace the next 1,000+ days that you have as a Lee student? Choose to serve. Seek out diverse perspectives. Figure out how you're going to invest in the relationships around you, and how your faith is going to be integrated into every aspect of your life. Okay, now you're not quite done yet. In case you forgot, there's this little thing called finals, and they start in a couple of days. Yeah, I know. You can do it. There's this thing called reading day, and I know you're all going to sit in your room and read all day, right? But seriously, while today is about telling you and reminding you and celebrating how proud we are of you, choose to finish strong. You can do it. One more week. College is a special thing, and Lee is a really special place. And I am so glad that you're a part of this family. To celebrate this special day and to mark this milestone, we're now going to hear from 3 student speakers, 2 freshmen and 1 graduating senior. First, we will hear from Austin Gard. Austin is a double major in music business and public relations from Eden, Maryland. Next, we will hear from Christian Schweer. Christian is an intercultural studies major from Franklin, Tennessee. And finally, we will hear from Caitlin Graves. Caitlin's going to be graduating next week with a degree in psychology. After they wrap up, we're going to recognize this year's Hicks Scholars. Please help me in welcoming Austin.
Welcome home. These were the first words that I heard uttered from this stage nearly 9 months ago. Being 12 hours away from home, my mind was racing. I thought to myself that I would never call this place my home. My family wasn't here, and my friends were all going to college locally. I was gone in the unknown, a new culture with its own customs, quirks, opportunities, and ways of life. As I reflected on my time at Lee thus far, everything kept coming back to this idea of home. My perspective has changed, and I find myself over breaks at my real home, referring to Lee as home. And some of you can relate to that. I'm pretty sure Rochelle's comment earlier about acronyms was a form of prophecy because, you see, I've pulled one of the oldest Lee tricks, and yes, I made an acronym. H represents hope. Ladies and gentlemen, rest assured these next 3, 4, 5, and even 6, for some of you, years are going to be incredible. Each year will be golden, literally 24K. We're talking thousands of dollars here, okay? But hope, that's what it comes back to. If anything, my 2 semesters here have shown me that I belong. People accept me for me, and I found myself within different communities and families on campus full of people who have my back and are there to support me no matter what. Needless to say, there's no need to change who you are just to cater to others because this place is a melting pot full of different personalities, characters, interests, hobbies, and accents. Okay, to be real, I don't know what some of you Southerners are saying half the time. Like, I'm not quite sure if y'all know what a buggy is, but it's a shopping cart, okay? Right? Seriously, though. So O represents opportunity. Listen, life at Lee is full of opportunities. As much as we joke around about the stereotypes and traditions, this thing we get to be a part of is so unique and incredible in its own way. We're diverse, and there's a possibility for anyone to pursue their passions. So far, personally, I've had the opportunity to join a choir through singers, give a shout out, and I've also been able to be res life as a floor leader of the Bear Boys of B4, okay? I'm a mighty man of Pi Kappa Pi in Greek life, and I also was in theater in the musical Oliver, and music on the chapel team, as you saw earlier. So, and all this was while maintaining a perfect GPA, social life, and 8 hours of sleep each night. 2 truths and a lie, or are they all lies? You decide, okay? Seriously, though, with self-discipline, it is possible to take each opportunity as a chance to grow, mentally, physically, spiritually, and academically. This is what makes Lee so special. And I must admit that in the midst of all this involvement, I've surprisingly found myself growing closer to God. I made it a primary goal to put my relationship with Him first. Also, the guidance of fellow students and faculty have been pushing me on, encouraging me to keep growing as much as I can. Consequently, I've seen the love, patience, and dedication of Christ begin to pour out in my areas of involvement, and now I feel as though I truly am making an influence in my areas. Now, M represents maturity. Being at Lee, my small-town blighters were quickly ripped off. My high school graduation consisted of 40 people. So as you can imagine, being thrown into this pool of 5,000 plus students, it made me feel as though I was drowning in the current. But as I learned from other perspectives, I saw what made people tick. I began to see the world as they see it. I saw their burdens along with their strengths, talents, and ambitions. And being surrounded by so many different people from so many different walks of life, I feel as though I've actually discovered more about myself than I actually have about them. And finally, E represents experience. I've told you what Lee is like for me, and you've probably seen it firsthand in your own lives in different ways. So I ask, what will your experience look like? And who will we allow to impact us, and who will we impact? What are we going to do while we're here? And most importantly, who are we going to be when we leave this place? I urge you, let us together make this the most of our Lee experience. Because college is so much more than coffee, Netflix, and 8 a.m.s. It's the people that make the experience. It's the memories, and it's the present. So we can choose to embrace it, or we can choose to sit back and ride the motions. I say let's embrace it. Thank you for creating a place that I can call home.
I'm a first-generation Lee student. That means no. My parents didn't meet at Lee and fall madly in love under the clock tower at the end of the Ped Mall. No, my dad isn't a pastor, and no, my mom isn't a musician. I guess that kind of disqualifies me from fitting that typical Lee University student stereotype, right? You guys know that stereotype, the one that people outside the bubble like to talk about. When I tell people I'm a student at Lee, it's almost always that their immediate response is, "Oh, so you sing?" No, I don't sing. Yes, I'm serious. If you'd like, I could demonstrate to prove it. This answer is usually followed by, "Oh, so then you want to get married like really early, right?" No, believe it or not, I'm not looking for a ring by spring. The conversation will typically, yes, thank you. The conversation will typically go back and forth like this for a while until eventually they just ask, "Wait, so why are you at Lee?" Well, that's a good question. The first class I attended at Lee began, as I'm sure many of yours did, with obligatory small talk with the people sitting next to me about where we're from and what dorm we live in and our first impressions of the food in the caf. Before our professor started class, he offered a prayer, and I think my jaw almost hit the floor. Let me explain. I went to a public high school. We didn't pray in the classrooms. We couldn't pray in the classrooms. The fact that my professor, my educator, was going to start class by talking to God with us was astounding to me. I felt so incredibly blessed to be in a place where faculty and students were not only welcomed, but encouraged to break bread and pray together. The spiritual life on Lee's campus moves beyond anything I could have dreamed. I've never been in a place that contains so many people seeking after God's own heart, and I certainly never thought I'd be fortunate enough to live in one. The way that my relationship with God has grown in the past year at Lee alone is something I'll always hold on to. This is why I'm at Lee. Another thing that I'll say caught me off guard about Lee were the relationships that professors have with their students. It isn't just that our professors desire for us to succeed, but they walk alongside of us to ensure that we do. They offer not only their guidance, but their friendship as well. I've been invited into my professors' offices just because they want to chat. I've been prayed for and discipled by them. I've eaten dinner in their homes and become Facebook friends with their spouses. This school and its faculty foster an environment of hospitality and support that seem unmatched by anywhere else. I've only been here for 1 year, and already I feel like I'm home. I feel loved. This is why I'm at Lee. It should come as no surprise that here at Lee, we like to serve others. We understand the calling that God has placed on our lives to love others well in His name. One of the many special things about Lee is the incredible amount of opportunities that students have to serve God and His creation. Big Pal, Little Pal, Adopt a Grandparent, Urban Outreach, you name it, we've got it. Personally, my heart has been captured by an amazing ministry called Crossover. This student-led organization immerses itself into the areas of need in Cleveland and builds relationships with the people there to further the kingdom of God. The impact that this ministry has had on my life cannot be expressed with mere words. The beautiful people that I've been blessed to spend time with over the past year have become my family. When I'm with them, I witness God's redemptive power, and I see Jesus fill both their hearts and mine. This is why I'm at Lee. So you see, it doesn't really matter what we're bringing to the table, because God wants to use what we have. My friend Austin that just spoke, he sings like an angel. I sound like a broken lawnmower. But did God call us both here? Yes. Some of those people in the Mayfield Annex, they create these art pieces that should be displayed in museums. I mess up my stick figures. But did God call us all here? Yes. You see, there is no typical Lee student. We don't have a mold to fit. We can all risk our flame and dare to do something great. We all have equal purpose in being here. God desires your present engagement on this campus. If he didn't, you probably wouldn't be here in the first place. There's a reason you're sitting in those squeaky auditorium chairs today. God has called you here. This is why we're at Lee. Thank you.
Your love is like radiant diamonds bursting inside us. We cannot contain. Your love will surely come find us like blazing wildfires, singing your name. God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering stretch across the skies. These hallelujahs be multiplied. You just let go into your hippie dance. Hold on, yeah, holding on to what you can. You hold on, you're holding on the way you can. You just let go, and when you can, will you let go into your hippie dance? Hold on, yeah, holding on to what you can. You hold on, you're holding on the way you can. You just let go, and when you can, will you let go into your hippie dance?
Okay, I'm gonna talk to you guys today. I'm sorry, hi. I'm gonna talk to you guys today about the meaning of a moment. So a moment is a portion in time, right? Usually pretty short, but a moment also contains a portion of significance. It's one that stands out from all the rest, and as I've been reflecting on my last 4 years at Lee, this is what comes to my mind. Moments, just moments. Being up here, looking at all of you, I can confidently say is one moment that I never thought that we'd be sharing today. So we ask for these all the time. You know that here text that you get from your friend, but you're still in your bed because you got caught up watching your latest Netflix binge? Or it's exam day and your whole class is begging your professor for just one more moment to study. Or your alarm's going off for your 8 a.m. and you decide to give yourself another moment courtesy of that snooze button, but then you wake up and you regret everything. And then you have to mess up your whole dorm room getting ready, and then you have to explain to your RA why you failed room check that day. It really was a while ago, but I remember my first moments at Lee. For instance, moving into my even smaller than I ever imagined dorm room in Tharp Hall, walking across that hall and meeting some of the best friends that I'm still really close to today. But there's this one moment from my first weekend at Lee that I can promise you I'll never forget. Rochelle mentioned earlier the Saturday opening session. Well, my freshman year, I met my Gateway class sitting right back there on the very last row of the Con Center. And it really was crazy in here, right? There's people walking around with these giant number signs, and they're way too excited to be here, and you don't know why. And people are laughing at Phil Cook as he wows all of us as he passes out giveaways like only really he can. And Rochelle tried to ease all of our anxieties about the hectic weekend, and the chapel band led us in worship. This is the moment that I'm talking about. I was standing back there looking at my entire class of new students, and we were singing Christ Alone, Cornerstone, Weak Made Strong in the Savior's Love. It was by Hillsong. And it dawned on me for the first time, I had to be here for a reason. And I thought, I never want to lose the way I'm feeling in this moment. Now, I'm not here to tell you that the next 4 years, I was living on cloud 9, in my Eno, eating an unlimited supply of pelicans. But I will tell you, the Lord continued to use this university and the people here to remind me of that very first moment at Lee. My second semester freshman year, I joined the lovely ladies of Epsilon Lambda Phi. And here, again, I was reminded of one of my purposes at Lee, and I gained a sisterhood to share it all with. The summer after my sophomore year, I traveled to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland on the psychology trip to Europe. I spent moments staring at God's beautiful creation in a place full of history in trying to understand others. These moments refreshed my dream of being a marriage and family therapist. And later that fall, I was welcomed into the family of Tau Kappa Omega. And little did I know, I gained a brotherhood that spent a lot of moments gooning, but constantly pointing me back to Christ. The fall, my junior year, I had the privilege of being hired as a peer leader, but also as a student worker in the Office of First Year Programs. So shout out to my 2 Gateway classes. I hope you guys made it to chapel today. I had the opportunity working with this office to plan new student orientation. So this means I found myself again in that Saturday morning opening session. I was standing over there this time, listening to Rochelle calm the nerves of anxious students, and Dr. Moffitt led us in worship. As I joined with this new class, I was taken back to that moment in my first opening session. And there it was again, the feeling I never wanted to forget, a moment of reassurance in my place here. So here I am, 11 days away from shaking Dr. Khan's hand on stage at graduation, fearful of my future and worried this 4-year journey could end in defeat. We far too often step up to these moments in our lives as wild excuse makers saying, I'm not fit to do this. But despite my doubt, God had something greater, and He has something greater for you. Your time at Lee may be short, but it will give you more than you could ever imagine. So don't let these moments pass you by. One day, they'll be cornerstones that you can lean back on. Thank you.
everybody. Last day of classes. Here we go. Reading day tomorrow. This place will be electric with intellectual activity. It's amazing. You will be able to just walk outside your dorm room and be struck with a profound, deep thought. It's my pleasure on this last day of classes to announce the winners of the B.L. Hicks Scholar Awards. I wonder if the B.L. Hicks Scholars would join me up here on stage. Are you out here nearby? Yeah, come stand up right along here and we'll do this in a hurry. Now while they're coming, let me tell you what this is all about. B.L. Hicks is actually not a dorm, it's a man. B.L. Hicks was a member of the board of directors of Lee, who was an outstanding church leader, who was tragically killed in an accident, and his daughter, in his memory, gave us the money to do two things. One is to build B.L. Hicks Hall, and the other was to establish a set of 14 scholarships for freshmen who are rising to the sophomore class. And the way this was set up many years ago is that in each of 14 majors, your major may not be one of them, but it's the way the whole thing was set up. Your major may not have existed when this began, or for whatever reason, there's only a limited number of majors. But for 14 majors, which the Hicks family selected, the faculty determines someone whom they would like to honor as perhaps the best freshman in that major. Now, this is not a science, it's an art, so perhaps not. But each of these has been chosen by the faculty of your major as an outstanding, maybe the most outstanding freshman. So with a little help from Brianna, you're going to give out the plaques? We are? Okay. They get a plaque, that's for your mama. Take this home, let your mama, parents love plaques. They think it means you're doing well. It's a cheap payoff to a parent. In addition to that, they get a small amount of scholarship money, and mostly they get the admiration of all of us. So let me introduce these people to you, and we're going to start with Rochelle, you said? Oh, Rochelle's going to help. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought she's a little old to be getting the freshman award, isn't she? She's already done that. All right, here we go. Step forward. Tell you what, before she gives you the plaque, you step forward and give it kind of the Queen Elizabeth wave, kind of a regal wave. Would you wave to the crowd? Okay, not yet. Okay, step back. Okay. And so we'll get this done, but now you got to step forward and give it the wave, okay? Okay? Everybody good? In anthropology, Danae Chaplin, anthropology. Okay, Danae, let's get this down. Rochelle, don't jump on the wave. First the wave, then you turn to Rochelle. We haven't had time to practice this, okay? Okay, first the wave. Danae Chaplin, then the plaque. Shh. She's from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. All right, now we're rolling. In biology and chemistry, Savannah Brasher. Savannah is from Franklin, Tennessee. In business, Reagan Carr, accounting. She's an accounting major from Woodstock, Georgia. In communication, Isaac Barrick. Is that you, Isaac? Isaac is from Wilmington, Delaware. In computer information systems, Zachary Cochran. Zachary is from Gallup, New Mexico. In elementary education, Holly Hauk. Holly is from Anchorage, Alaska. They're getting farther and farther away, you notice. I hope there's some good Southern kids in here somewhere. Oh yeah, they're coming up. In English, from Harrison, Tennessee, Hannah Stone. Thank you, Hannah. In exercise science and secondary ed, Susanna Guthrie she's from Jackson, Tennessee. In history, is this Gahanna? Gahanna, Ohio? How do you pronounce it? Where are you from? It says Gahanna. Oh, she just moved there 10 days ago. Let's call it Gahanna. Okay. It's Ohio. Who cares? You know, it's Gahanna. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, this is Corey Weaver. She's a history major, and she's from Ohio, Gahanna. You got the plaque coming from this direction this time. Okay. In mathematics, Paul Fortmiller. Paul is from Hickson, Tennessee. In political science, Melissa Haley. Melissa's from right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. In psychology, Madison Gamble. Madison is from Spring Hill, Tennessee. In special education, Allison Buffington. Allison is from Hagerstown, Maryland. And in world languages, Sarah Strickland, Spanish major from Cleveland, Tennessee. Congratulations, guys. You must be really, really good students. Thank you very much.
All right. All right, a couple quick announcements before you guys head outside. Here's the deal. Freshmen, your gateway instructors and peer leaders are waiting outside for you, okay? They can't wait to see you too. Here's the deal. Listen up. Stay with me one more minute. They have a packet for you, specifically for you. Transfers is a transfer table. Transfer leaders have a packet for you as well. Inside that packet, the most important thing that you're probably going to care about is there's a voucher for a free t-shirt, all right? Here's the deal. There's also a big party on the Ped Mall with lots of really good food. If you have an 11:45 class, please go pick up your packet before your class. The party will be going on until at least 1:30, so you can come back after 1 o'clock and get some food and all the other stuff that you want, okay? But go pick up your packet first. Let me make sure. All right, would you guys stand with me? Let's say the college benediction. All right, you ready? Let's go. Now let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. See you outside.